Hi there. I've been asked to talk to you about clarinet articulation. Articulation is a really big fancy word that means how we use our tongue to play the instrument. So the first thing I want to make sure you know that you're doing correctly is this is your mouthpiece, and this is a reed, and this is your ligature. The reed has to be really wet for it to work right. So I let it soak in my mouth, and then I put it on my mouthpiece, and I make sure that it is centered and right at the tippy tip of the mouthpiece. And it should look like this. It's right at the tippy tip. I can still see a little bit of the mouthpiece right behind it. Your ligature doesn't look like my ligature. Your screws are going to be on the front. I have a special ligature. So yours are going to be on the front. Don't try to put them on the back like this. So when you go to try to tongue, one really important thing is your tongue should hit the reed. It should not hit the roof of your mouth. And the reason I know this is because I played like that for 6 years before somebody finally fixed it. So if you can start tonguing correctly right away, that would be awesome. So you want to make sure your tongue hits on the reed. I'm going to do it just on my mouthpiece first, and it's going to sound really high and screechy, but I want you to hear it and see if you can notice that I'm using my tongue to hit on the reed. Okay? Again, really obnoxious sounding, but that's how it sounds. Now when I go and I do it on my clarinet, I'm using my tongue to hit the reed. So one thing you might want to try is to put the mouthpiece in your mouth and take a breath. But when you blow, put your tongue on the reed and nothing will come out like this. Nothing came out because I put my tongue on the reed and the reed closed up like this. That was like, if this is my tongue, it closes the reed up and no air can get in. It's like shutting the door. So that's what happened. But when I take my tongue away, the sound will come out. So that's what the tongue does, and the tongue is really important to being a good clarinet player. Also very important that works with the tongue is your air. You want to make sure that the air comes behind the tongue. It follows the tongue right away. And the air should sound like an E vowel. T, T, T. So that the air, that creates the energy, and that's what creates the sound. So with the tongue, the air, and the reed, it vibrates. That's what happens when the air hits the reed, is this reed vibrates, and that's what creates the sound. If you don't have the reed on, nothing comes out. So I'm going to take my reed off. Nothing happens because this is magic. And that's why you have to have a good reed too. I'm only supposed to really talk about tonguing right now, but I will say that the condition of your reed is important. And if you have chips in your reed, or if the reed is dry, the reed's not going to play correctly. So you want to make sure it's a good reed and it's wet so that it can create the sound. What I just played was a 2-octave scale. That might not mean anything to you right now, and that's okay. But I used my tongue to get every single note to come fluttering out, and that worked. So I hope that helps, and good luck.